It is just a huge, huge honor for me today to be podcast interviewing Leonard Tau DMD, FAGD. After purchasing his practice, the Pennsylvania Center for Dental Excellence in Philadelphia in 2007, Dr. Leonard Tau solely used the power of the internet to help grow his new patient base and win against the traditional way of marketing one's dental office. He lectures nationally and internationally on internet marketing, social media, and reputation management, and its ability to make your dental office more visible and credible. He is also the general manager of the dental division for Bird Eye, a reputation marketing platform, and founder of iSocial Digital, a consulting firm that helps dentists develop a comprehensive online marketing plan. His content-rich, engaging seminars allow him to bring his firsthand experience to the audiences. He's been chosen as one of the top leaders in dental consultant by Dentistry Today. Len is a dentist, consultant, speaker, practice owner, and podcaster. Few professionals within the dental industry have the level of expertise, knowledge, and passion for the field. He has traveled the country educating dental professionals to help them succeed in growing their practice, reigniting their passion for dentistry, and navigating the fast-changing nature of the job. Be sure to check out his podcast, the Raving Patients Podcast, available on iTunes. Thanks, Len, for coming on the show, man. And when I'm reading that, this is why DSOs are getting so much more popular, because a dentist just has to wear so many hats. I mean, it's so hard to come out of school. We just graduated 6,000 dentists this month, and it's so hard to learn crown and bridge, and then molar endo, and Invisalign, and now you got to be a social media marketer and HR, and there's just so many hats to wear. What advice do you give dentists on how to wear one more hat, which is advertising? When I got out of school, was just the yellow pages. Now it's all gone digital.
Yeah, when I came out of school, I graduated in 1999 from Tufts. I had gone into I thought I was ready for private practice. Let me start off by saying that. And far away, I was not. And you think you are, but you're not. I did a residency in Southern Jersey. It was an AEGD. I did all dentistry. I didn't want to do hospital rotations. Again, I thought I was ready for private practice. I went into a group practice in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and 6 years later, I bought my own practice, and that was in 2007. And you don't realize when you go into private practice, you don't know everything that you have to be doing. You're a mini CEO of your own business. Like you said, you have to know how to do molar endo. You have to know how to do extractions and crown and bridge, and you have to know how to handle the team, and now have to handle patients. Now you have to know how to do marketing and reviews and social media. And it's hard, and it's not the easiest thing to be doing. And it's very attractive for a dentist to graduate school, and they're now. I mean, I'm sure you saw the article that was all over Dental Town about the guy in the Wall Street Journal who was $1 million in debt after however many years it has been. He's paying the minimum loan payment, and after 25 years, they're going to forgive his loan. But to be, even if it's $400,000 or $500,000, I was very fortunate. I was talking to my dad yesterday. I came out of school with no dental loans. My dad and my mom planned; they paid for school 100%. So I was very fortunate. I didn't realize how fortunate I was, till I obviously finished school and kind of had my own practice. But these are people that have a mortgage without a house, basically, when they come out of school. And it's very enticing to go to these places and just get paid to do nothing other than do dentistry. And being a solo, there's a lot of rewards and a lot of great things to have from being a solo practitioner. But it's hard. It's not easy. And having to do all these things on top of being a dentist make it all that more difficult to do. And having to throw yourself into the marketing realm, it's difficult. And I'm fortunate that I found my niche. I help dentists all over the country. I speak to hundreds of dentists a month with their reputation and their marketing online. And I don't envy anybody coming out of school now, because I'm 45 almost, and I've been doing it for 12 years on my own, and it's not the easiest thing in the world for them to do.
So let's stay on that subject. What advice would you give these recent grads? Because they literally graduated last week. I mean, this is May 31st. Did Tufts, did they already have their graduation ceremony?
Yes, they did. It
So,
is.
so what would you tell these people? I mean, do you think, looking back, do you think the residency was a good idea? Would you go work for a DSO? Give them what your advice. I mean, you've gone through this.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the DSO model, so don't recommend a DSO, but that's just my own personal opinion. I think take as much CE as you can. I strictly now, I work 2 days a week now, Howard, Mondays and Tuesdays. Wednesdays I have off, but I travel 40 weeks out of the year to various trade shows. We spoke at Action to Win together in Arizona a few weeks ago. But I travel to about 40 meetings a year teaching, exhibiting for Bird Eye, teaching the world about the power of online reviews. So the Mondays and Tuesdays I'm in there, but I have very busy schedules because I only do certain procedures. So, and part of that is because I didn't enjoy doing things because I didn't do them in dental school. So, and I didn't want to practice on patients outside of school. That's what dental school is about. So I didn't take teeth out. I didn't do a lot of these things I wanted to do. So take as much CE as possible until you become comfortable with those procedures, and find what you enjoy. Don't do it just because you're doing it and just because you want to make money. I think that's something that I am very fortunate is I love dentistry, but I love doing certain procedures within dentistry. I'm a general dentist for a reason. And so find what you enjoy, do what you enjoy. Don't do it just because you have to pay loans back. Find your passion. I'm very fortunate. I have, my dental career I love. I have Bird Eye, which I love. I speak, which I love. I love podcasting now. I wake up in the morning every morning and, I'm excited to do what I'm doing that day. And not everybody can say that. Again, find out what you enjoy doing. Do as much of it as possible. Take tons of CE, whether it's from a business perspective to learn how to do better in your practice, from a marketing perspective, or even from a clinical perspective. There's so much CE right now. And I think most importantly, find a mentor. Find someone that can mentor you, teach you the way. Call a dentist in your area, see if you can, learn from them, because there's nothing better than finding a local dentist who can show you the way to be successful.
That's great advice. By the way, before we get in dentistry, you're from Philadelphia. Is the Rocky statue still in front of the museum, or whatever happened to that?
Well, they put it in front of the museum, so it's right. It's actually down below the museum by the stairs.
So they took it down, but they put it back right where they.
Well, they moved it. They moved it from the previous location. So just to clarify, I'm not from Philadelphia. I'm a transplant from New York. So I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New York sports fan. I love every sports team from New York. But I came to Philadelphia after I did my residency, and I stayed because I met my wonderful wife, who's from Philadelphia, and I decided, because I already had a practice here and I was working here, that I would stay here. But I'm very much a New Yorker still.
So you didn't move to Philadelphia for the Rocky statue?
No, I did not.
That was not the main reason?
And I've never actually seen the Rocky statue. I've never been down there.
So what was it? It was in front of a museum, then they moved it, or?
It was. I think it was in front of. I think it was in a different part of the museum, and they moved it down to the bottom of the steps. Is what I think happened. Just like I actually, up till about 3 weeks ago, when I went on my son's trip to Citizens Bank Park with a Phillies play and the Independence Hall, I'd never seen the Liberty Bell, and I lived in Philadelphia for almost 20 years. I'd never seen the Liberty Bell, so we did that on a class trip. So finally, I saw that.
And you know what's the coolest part of the Liberty Bell? It's right across the street from the Norman Rockwell Museum.
I still haven't been to that either. So.
Oh my God, I think that's my favorite art museum in America.
I haven't been to the Betsy Ross house. I mean, I just don't. Just like if you live in New York, you don't go to the Statue of Liberty all the time. I mean, it's.
Well, here's what's really embarrassing. Half my staff have not been to the Grand Canyon, and when
you
you go to the Grand Canyon, everybody there is from Japan and Germany. Anyway, gosh, so what's hot and what's not now in reputation management? Hell, it wasn't even a word or a term 5 years ago, and now it's all the buzz. I mean,
well, I don't love the term reputation management. So reputation management is an old term. It's reputation management is worrying about negative reviews. Taking negative reviews off the first page of Google. I want practices to focus on getting positive reviews, getting your happy patients to talk about you online, getting that to help promote you, getting that in front of Google, so Google will promote your practice so more people see it. So it's your happy patients talking about you online to get more new patients. So I call it reputation marketing. I hate reputation management. That's like reverse SEO. So what's the latest and greatest? Well, literally, I was just in Hawaii at the AAPD meeting, and I personally had my reviews drop from 235 to 177. So I lost about 50 Google reviews, and I was like, what the hell? So it turns out that I was one of the original guys who got involved with the reviews back in 2008, 9, and 10, before Google Plus existed. And when Google Plus came about, everybody created a Google Plus account with a name. Prior to Google Plus, nobody had a name on Google. Everything was called a Google user. Well, after many years, Google finally said, okay, anybody with a Google user is anonymous, so we're going to consider those reviews somewhat not credible anymore. So overnight, anybody who is like a long-time reviewer or a long-time user of reviews like myself, because I've been doing it so long, those reviews dropped off Google. So literally overnight, I went from 235 to 177. So it tells you that Google wants fresh, current, relevant reviews rather than older reviews. So that's some really hot news that literally just came out in the last week that most dentists don't really know existed. Overnight they may have lost, even if it was 6 reviews, most of the times they lost it because they were just got old reviews that Google said are no longer credible. So that's the latest and greatest stuff that, came out, along with the fact that Google doesn't want you to gate reviews anymore. So a gate is asking a pre-screening question whether the patient had a good experience or not prior to getting a review from them. So they don't want any more gated reviews, so they don't have that question prior to asking them to put a review on Google anymore.
Wow. It's always changing. And now there's all these websites. It seems like every website you go now, you have to re-agree to the terms of conditions because something that went down in the EU. Will that affect any dentist or not really?
Not really, no. I just think that, there's so many sites, there's so many websites, there's so many ways a patient can leave a review about you online. There's so many ways that they can talk negatively about you online. I just think the dentists have to be aware of what's going on and be able to know how to deal with it. I mean, I don't know if you saw recently in the news, I know this was on Dental Town in the forums as well, that a gynecologist was given a negative review on Yelp. And, I always have taught from the very beginning, the best defense against a negative review is more positive reviews. Just ask your happy patients to write a review about you. This guy, who had only 4 Yelp reviews at the time, one bad, decided to sue the patient for $1 million. $1 million. Now, Howard, what is your opinion of that?
He's an asshole.
Exactly. Okay. So now I put this on a number of Facebook groups, and it was very interesting to see the reaction of the dentists on there because they were saying, congratulations, the doctor finally decided to sue a patient. Now, there's been many doctors who have sued patients, and it's the Streisand Effect. I'm sure you know about that terminology, what the Barbra Streisand Effect was. Do you know about that?
No.
So what the Streisand Effect was, Barbra Streisand had a home in Malibu, and a helicopter flew above and was taking pictures of her home. And she found out who the photographer was and sued the photographer for taking pictures of her house. Now, nobody gave 2 craps about her house before the photographer took a picture of it. She brought all this negative publicity to her own self because she sued this photographer. So, of course, if you now look, again, when the guy got, before this happened, he had 4 reviews, 4 stars, whatever it was. Now, fast forward 2 days later, this has been on New York Post. It was on Good Morning America. It's been all over the news. He has 68 one-star reviews on Yelp, all calling the guy an asshole, every name under the book, because he's suing this patient for $1 million. The woman now has a GoFundMe account trying to raise money to fight the dentist, the gynecologist, for suing her. So this is the worst publicity someone can have. So, the best defense is just to get more positive reviews from the patient, from your happy patients. And that's what I've been teaching dentists for years, not to react in a way that hurts them. This will never go away. It's like the lion killer. Cecil the lion, when that guy shot the lion. It was such
Walter Palmer, or what was
Walter Palmer. Yep, Walter Palmer. He had all these bad reviews written about his dental practice because he shot the lion and killed the lion. Huge, horrible publicity. Obviously he didn't sue somebody, but don't push this negative publicity upon you. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't. You're doing that to yourself.
Well, you mentioned Yelp, and one of the first times, you really exploded as a legend on Dental Town, going all the way back to 2013. You wrote an article, A Second Opinion, Yelp Can Be Detrimental to Your Practice, Ways to Combat It, by Leonard Tau. Do you remember writing that article?
I do.
My God, that was huge. So what are if someone had read that article today, what have your views changed on Yelp from 2013 to 2018, 5 years later? Do you still stand by that article, or is it all changed now?
Well, so, first of all, that article, put me on the map on Dental Town, but it also got my attention for a lot of the other things I was doing. And I don't think I'd be where I am today in the position I was in if it wasn't for that article. So I owe a lot of my successes to that article being written and published. Is
it still a good article to push out? I got the article on is it still a good one to push out on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that?
I'm not sure it's as relevant enough because, Yelp is still, there's a lot of dentists that don't like Yelp, but because of Yelp's business practices. I teach a class, at many dental conferences called Help on Yelp because I've studied it over the years. I know how to beat it at its own game, but you have to stick by their rules. Back then, it was more of what you heard. It was all hearsay back then. Now I really know how to beat it at its own game. But, Yelp in Philadelphia is not that big a deal. Yelp in LA, Yelp in San Francisco, Yelp in Chicago, Miami, New York, those are much bigger deals for dentists to have to really make sure they have a huge Yelp presence, huge number of Yelp reviews. Philadelphia, not so much. So, but, Yelp's business practices are really put into question. I don't necessarily believe they extort money. People who work with Yelp have to understand they're paying Yelp for advertising. They're not paying them to get the reviews in and out of the filter. If you have a patient who's an active Yelper, someone who leaves a lot of reviews, has a lot of friends, those Yelp reviews will come out of the filter and stay out of the filter. If there's someone who's never been to Yelp before, or a patient comes in and you tell them, hey, do a Yelp review, but they've never been on Yelp before ever, they create a profile and they do a Yelp review for your practice, that review is not going to stay. It's just that simple. That's just how their policy is. Now, if they're filtered out and then they go and leave a review for their gynecologist, their cleaners, their haircut person, and then they friend 40 people, that review may come out of the filter. So you never know their true way they do business. But you have to understand, if you're paying them for premium placement on their website, not to get the reviews in and out of the filter. And if you're doing if you think any other thing, you're wasting your money. And I don't think if you don't have a lot of reviews, you should be even spending money with them, because if people see your ad, they're not going to click on it unless you look good on Yelp. So unless you look great on Yelp, don't pay them for advertising. So my views on Yelp haven't changed in the sense that I just don't love their business practices. I think they can be detrimental to any business. But, times have changed over the last 5 years.
Do you advise your clients to use Yelp, or do you stick on Facebook and Google?
So I think Yelp is a very important citation, which is a site that Google trusts immensely. So from a citation perspective, making sure you have a claimed profile, making sure the name, address, and phone number is consistent. You have photos on there. You have office hours correct. As long as information on there is normal and corrected, I think you're great. I think if you're in one of those cities I mentioned, then maybe Seattle or a couple of the other cities, I think it's important to get reviews on there. But if you're in a town like Waxahachie, Texas, or the middle of Mississippi, where you don't have people who are active on Yelp, Yelp's going to do nothing for you because the reviews can't stay. So I think it's very geographic centric. I think the most important site, no matter what, 100% is Google. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that you have to dominate Google no matter where you are in the country, because Google runs the world. Google runs the internet. So if they don't like you, they don't trust you, they won't show you online. And if they don't show you, you're invisible. And if you're invisible, people can't find you. So, I mean, if you're doing a search, I mean, Howard, if you look for a dentist in Philadelphia, I mean, in Phoenix, where you are, if you were looking for a dentist for Phoenix, what would you search for?
I go to Google and search dentist near me.
Right, or dentist in Phoenix or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there are 3 dentists on that list there. You need to be one of those 3. Very few people click on, more places. Okay? How often do you, when you're searching for anything, how often do you search past page 1 of Google?
Yeah, not hardly.
Okay. And do you use any other search engines other than Google? Do you use Bing?
No.
Do you know what Bing stands for?
What?
Bing is because it's not Google. Bing, because it's not Google.
Is that serious? So, is that a joke, or is that true?
No, it's a joke, but Bing is because it's not Google. I mean,
yeah.
That's B-I-N-G.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why people don't use anything. I mean, I think it's 90% of the search people use is on Google. They say it's like 75%. But I don't know anybody who doesn't use Google for a search. And the best place to hide a dead body is page 2 of Google search results, because nobody goes there. So, I mean, you need to make yourself visible and credible on Google and focus on Google. Now, Facebook's important too, because more and more people are spending time on Facebook. The average person spends 2 hours on Facebook in a day. So you have to have a Facebook presence as well. I mean, so Google, Facebook, to a lesser extent, depending on where you are, or Yelp. And other than that, doesn't matter. If you're not on those 3 places, you're not being found. So, I mean, that has a lot to do with your success online is going to be dependent on how you look on those places.
So what do you think my homies are doing right, and what do you think they're doing wrong?
Well, I think that they need to focus their attention on making themselves credible and visible before they spend their money on marketing. And too many people throw too many dollars into, pay-per-click advertising, whether it's on Facebook or Google, social media, display advertising, SEO, without making themselves credible. And if you don't have reviews online, no matter what they're doing, you're not going to be effective with your ROI. We talk about return on investment. If you're spending money on something and you're not seeing ROI, you should stop it. So if you're spending $500 a month in SEO and you're on page 2 after a year and you spend $6,000, that you got no patience from it if you're still on page 2. So I think the moral of the story here is that if you're going to do marketing, make sure you have reviews before you do any of the other marketing you're doing. And not everybody does that. People focus on other things first, which is, I've got to get more new patients. I got to go to Google AdWords and get, paid advertising going first when they have 6 reviews. I think that's backwards. I've got to spend $10,000 on a brand new website when they're in business for 2 months. That's backwards. You need to be found first online.
So it sounds like you really think that the most important metric in social media digital marketing is your number of reviews.
Well, I think it's number of reviews, how your score too, obviously. So when they have polls out there, they've done surveys, and they said that 85% of people trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. The 2 main things they look at are the number of reviews and the star rating attached to it. Reviews, they want 73% of people want reviews within the last 3 months. 17% want them within the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, these are some really strong statistics that show the value of online reviews. And if you don't think that that's the way it is, then, they always say, I want to look at a word of mouth. I'm a word of mouth practice. I don't need reviews. Okay. But I guarantee, or I'm in a small town and there's no dentists, there's only a couple of dentists in my town. Well, what happens when that young guy comes into town who has a ton of social capital, has a ton of followers online, and opens up, 2 doors down from you, and all of a sudden he takes a number of insurances and he pulls out some of your patients from your practice. And you don't have a lot of reviews. Then you have to react. I don't want you to be reactive. I want you to be proactive. And being proactive is making it a point today, tomorrow, yesterday, to start asking your patients for reviews or feedback, as I call it, rather than just hoping for the best and hoping that patients just walk in your door. So, that's just reviews are literally the foundation or the building block to doing other things online.
Okay, why do you think? Okay, I'll go in my backyard. I got two buddies, great friends, and one of them has 219 reviews, and the other guy right next door has 3, but they're both amazing dentists or quality guys. They're just both of them could treat anybody in my family. Why do you think one has 219 and one has 3? Obviously, the one with 219 is working it, right? I mean,
Correct.
because random entropy, it couldn't be that. Two dentists, same age, same street, next door. I mean, you just couldn't have random. That one guy had 200 patients that left and wanted to write a review, and the other guy only had 3 when they're both adorable, amazing, nice guys.
Well, what's really funny is, and you have people who've been in practice. How long has the one with 3 been in practice? You have an idea?
Same. We're all the same age. We're all 55.
Okay, all right.
So we're
he's been
all
in practice.
very young. We're all very young who have practiced 30 years, and one has 3 reviews, and one has 219.
So you would think by normal, like patients, just normal activity, it proves a point here, though. You would think by normal behavior, people would just go online and leave reviews in 20 years or 30 years, however long he's been in business for. You think that he would, people would go online to his page and write reviews as naturally only has 3 of them. Okay. Obviously, in all those years, only 3 have gone online. So he's not doing anything to get reviews. Okay. Now you take the reverse, the one with 219, I think you said, they're obviously using some type of service, whether it's Bird Eye, whether it's, Podium is another company, whether they're just asking. One's making it a point to ask or get the reviews. One's ignoring them completely and just hoping for the best. So, the most important thing you have to do is ask patients. You have to make it a culture in your office to ask patients to do it. If your patients aren't doing it, and you're not asking, you're never going to get them. So I think that's what separates those 2 offices. One's doing it, one's not. And if you don't do it, you're going to get none. So that's the biggest disparity there. Is one's doing it, one's not doing it.
Someone's listening to you right now, and they just they should go to Google, type in their name, their dental office, and they look it up and they say, okay, I've only got 4 reviews. So how do they contact you? Is it Dr. Len Tau, LENTAU.com? Is that what they do? Or they go to birdeye.com?
Well, so there's, they can always contact me directly, so they can reach out to me. My website that has my speaking website, my consulting website is drlentau.com. Obviously, if they want information about Bird Eye, they can contact me at birdeye.com. There are 2 separate entities completely. I don't own Bird Eye. I run the dental division for them. I had my own software called iSocial Reviews, and Bird Eye acquired my company from me almost 4.5 years ago now. So I run their dental division for them. But if they can certainly go to Bird Eye's website and they can reach out to us through them, and they can request a demo of our software that way. But if they want me, they can also reach out to me on my own website. Either way, it's easy.
But give them the website. Which website should they go to?
So it's drlentau.com, drlentau.com.
Okay, that'd be the first one.
Yep, or they can reach out at birdeye.com. It's birdeye.com. Or they can contact. Go ahead.
Where does that name come from? What Bird Eye?
Well, it's a bird eye view of your business, so it's like overlooking everything for a business. So we're able to tell them where they're struggling, where they're doing well from a review perspective. So it's the bird eye view of a business.
And what if they want to email you? You give that out?
They can email me at Dr. Len Tau, DRLENTAU @birdeye.com.
And what are you doing? What is your average client when this Dentistry Uncensored? So get nitty gritty. What is your average client? How much money do they give you? Does the money pay for the service? Do you take more money to buy Google AdWords? Tell them how.
No, we're strictly a reputation marketing company. So we send out automated messages after the appointment asking for feedback about the experience. We integrate with 98% of the practice management software that are out there. after the appointment, the text message goes out asking for feedback. When the patients click through, we don't have a gate anymore, so it says something like, we hope your experience exceeded your expectations. If for some reason did not, please choose to contact us below. If you would like to leave a positive review, click on one of the sites below. And we have 3 sites normally: Google, Facebook, Healthgrades, and then below that, contact us directly. There's a big red button that says reach out to us directly, so that they can go directly.
You said that you're a New Yorker. You said that real fast. 3 websites. What were they? Google, Healthgrades.
Sorry, Google, Facebook, and Healthgrades. And then below it says contact us directly if your experience did not meet your expectations. And there's a big red button there. So they're able to contact us directly if they had a problem. And we're one of 2 companies that has a direct Google partnership now that allows the patients to leave a review in our software that will go directly to Google through our software, as long as the patients have a Gmail account or a Google account. And we also put the reviews on their social media sites: Facebook, Twitter, their website. We create a microsite for them, which aggregates all the reviews around the internet. So we're generally just focusing on the reviews. Certainly depends on the number of patients they see in a typical day to determine how many reviews they're going to get in a typical month. I have some practices that are seeing 50 or 60 that are getting 20 or 30 a month. I have some practices that are seeing 15 to 20 patients a day that are getting 10 to 20 a month in terms of reviews online.
And how much does this cost?
$200 a month or $2,000 for the year with no setup fees. So it's a relatively inexpensive platform for what they get. So if
you buy 10 months, you get 2 months free.
Correct. You're paying for it.
For the average homie who gives you $200 a month, how many reviews do you think they would get? You're saying depends on how many people they're seeing a day?
Yeah, but I'm a one dentist. Even though I have an associate now, I'm still a one dentist practice. You should be getting anywhere from 8 to 10 reviews in a month. So at the end of the year, you should have 100 reviews.
And what percent? There's 211,000 Americans alive today with an active license in practice dentistry. 150,000 work 32 hours a week or more in general dentistry, and 30,000 work 32 hours or more a week as a specialty. Of those groups, of all those that are working 32 hours a week or more, what do you think the average number of reviews
that one has?
Yeah.
So I would say the average dentist in the U.S. probably has 10 to 15 reviews. The average, maybe less.
You think it's that high?
Maybe 8 to 10. Look, I have some that have 600 reviews. I have many that have 100 reviews. I mean, there's all that have 2,000 reviews, believe it or not. But maybe the average is 5 to 8 reviews. I mean, it's not any higher than that. I mean, it could be. I don't think it's any less than that though, because when you average it out. Look, we have 7,000 active clients who use Bird Eye from a dental perspective.
You have 7,000 dentists?
Yep.
7,000?
Yep.
So are you the biggest firm then in this space?
We're one of them. I mean, there's a couple other ones that are somewhat big, but we're certainly one of the leaders in the industry. We have a lot, and it's not 7,000 direct. So we have about 4,500 direct, but we have a couple of larger resellers use Bird Eye as their engine, who drive them. They have other names, but yeah, we have a total of about 7,000 dentists. We have about 27,000 businesses who use our software because we're not only dental. So,
holy moly, Len! Congratulations on that. That's huge. So tell us, what have you learned from 7,000 dentists using it? I mean, do they get more reviews than they did, and does this translate to higher numbers of new patients, and does that translate to increased collections?
So here's a really interesting thing that we did. We have a couple of larger organizations that work with us. Okay, so some large DSOs, some of the bigger DSOs are with us, and one in particular, they had 50 locations with us. And we analyze all the reviews. We do some keyword analyses, and we can put all these keywords into little buckets based on the analysis of the keywords. So, 1-star review, I waited 2 hours. And 5-star reviews, the dentist was great. But we put them into little segments into our platform, and we asked the people who run the business, the CEO and CFO, can you tell us which practices make the most revenue? Okay, so give us from top to bottom the 50 from number 1 to number 50, and almost to a T, the highest rated offices made the most money, and the lowest rated offices made the least money. It was almost to a T. And we also work with a company called Blaze Pizza. They're a franchise for pizzeria, and they had their annual like get together of all their franchise owners, and they were using Bird Eye in their organization as well. And they showed it during their presentation from the CEO and CFO. Their highest rated offices were also the highest grossing offices as well. So if you give great customer service and you have great reviews online, you definitively make a lot more money. No doubt in my mind. I mean, we've proven it many, many times over. But it all starts with the customer service. So if you don't have great customer service, you're not going to get great reviews. Because if you read reviews, Howard, most of them are not the dentist sucks. Most of them are not, it's the staff is rude. The dentist ran late. My information wasn't private. There was an insurance issue. The money was a problem. It's not about the dentistry. So you've got to fix your customer service first. So we definitely learned that most of the negative reviews are not dental related issues. It's customer service issues. So it's a customer experience problem. So one is that we learned that the revenue is directly related to the number of reviews that the practice has. The higher rating, the more money you make. But the practices that get the most new patients are the ones that have the most reviews as well. So there's a practice that we have that has about 600 reviews online. And they started with two years ago. February of 2016 they started, right around the time of the midwinter meeting in Chicago. And they had 2 reviews. They have 613 now, I think. So 300 plus a year they're getting. And they're seeing an average of 15 to 18 new patients a month from those reviews because they ask. So what is 15 new patients worth to a practice? Huge numbers. Do you know what the average value of a new patient to a practice is nowadays? It's about $2,000. So, I mean, you're spending $2,000 annually to get $30,000 a month in some cases. I mean, to me, it's such an easy decision. And I still get people who tell me they think $2,000 is expensive for the year. I'm like, you need your head examined. You're in the wrong business then. Because I talk to probably a good 300 or 400 dentists a month now, whether it's at my seminars or it's at my trade shows or even on the phone, because I do 5 to 10 demos a day sometimes. And Bill, that's too expensive. I can't afford that. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't know how to run a business if you can't afford it. So, I mean, you appreciate that because I know you talk about that stuff. So, I mean, but yeah, no, those are some things we definitely learned. The more reviews you have, the more money you're making. The higher revenue, the higher rating, the higher the revenue when you compare these businesses together. But you've got to have the customer service.
Okay, you've been talking a lot, and it sounds like you're talking about general dentist, family practice. There's 9 specialties. Is there anything unique about any of the 9 specialties? You talked about a new patient is worth $2,000. Well, for an orthodontist, hell,
Yep.
an Invisalign would be
$5,000.
Yeah, or you can't get Invisalign in Phoenix for under $6,500. Oral surgeons. I mean, so do you work with a lot of specialists? Do some specialists use it more than general dentists, or some less? Talk about specialists, because there's a lot of them are on the show. So
the best specialists for us are orthodontists and pedodontists, strictly because they have a huge number of patients. Okay, and it's quantity when it comes to the number of reviews you're getting. So the more number of patients you treat, the more reviews you're going to get. Simply as that. And as you said, the orthodontists are doing Invisalign, so each patient for them is a higher value, higher monetary value. We have a lot of orthodontists. We have a lot of pedodontists. We have some periodontists. Okay, to a lesser extent, endodontists, because they don't get patients online that often. They're very, very referral based businesses. So the endodontists not so much. But the endodontists do very well because they don't see as many, but it's more of a personalized approach. So those are the main specialists that we work with. Orthodontists, or my oral surgeon. A funny story. My oral surgeon that I use in my practice, who's a friend of mine, personal friend of mine, said to me when I first started my own business, Len, we can talk about it, but there's no chance of buying your product. I'm like, okay. No problem. He got 2 bad reviews online. 2 bad reviews in about a week. What do you think he did? Called me on the phone, and he said, Len, let's sign up. I was like, great. So he started with 2 bad reviews. Now he's with me 3 years. He has over 450 Google reviews now. Every single year, he just got another one. He gets about 4 or 5 all on 4 cases specifically from those 400 plus reviews he has now, which are $30,000 cases he's getting 4 or 5 times a year for a $2,000 a year investment. So
yeah, all in fours, man. In Phoenix, they charge $25,000 an arch for that.
Yeah.
So that's a $25,000 or a $50,000 case. But talk specific, Len. They call you. They go to drlentau.com, and that was the and it's going to be $200 a month. They go to drlentau.com. They sign up, $200 a month. What exactly are you going to do for them?
We're going to help them get reviews online automated, so they don't have to do anything, because once we integrate with their practice management software, it's all automated, which is great. So we don't even we spend about an hour and a half with their team on the phone integrating into their practice management software. Everything's done for them. They don't have to. It's not team driven. I do recommend they have a conversation with the team, with the patient. Excuse me, just letting them know they're getting a text message. But it's very hands off for the team. And then we integrate. When the patients leave, we send a text message, and off they go. It's a very hands-off approach. We have a very turnkey solution for these dentists because we know how busy they are. And being one of them, we wanted to make it so simple for them to be able to get these reviews on the sites that matter.
Okay, now I know I'm going to ask you an uncomfortable question. I know you can't answer it. Maybe you can. I don't know. They're going to set up a practice. You work with all of these practice management systems. There's Dentrux, EagleSoft, SoftEnd, Open. There's tons of them. But if your daughter was 25 and just walked out of dental school, you use all those systems. Which practice management system do you think works best for them?
If I was just starting a practice now, 1,000,000% I would go with Open Dental. Not even a chance in hell.
Nice. I just switched after 30 years of SoftEnd.
Yeah,
No.
if I was starting a practice now, there's no other choice I would ever give, only because of the amount of money it costs. And look, we want to cut back expenses any way we can. If they could perform the same way as the big ends, and I've been with Dentrix in the beginning, and it just doesn't pay for me to change at this point. But it's already paid for. So but if it's going to cost you $15,000 or $20,000, whatever it costs now to set up a practice management software, I would just go with something that is just as good, and it's a monthly fee.
Okay, but I want to get more specific. So this dentist goes to drlentau.com. The dentist uses Open Dental, and then what do you do? Do you have to train the staff? Is it a webinar? Is it a software?
We have an onboarding. So the onboarding spends about an hour and a half integrating with the Open Dental, and training the staff for about 45 minutes on how to use our software. It's all automated, like I said, and then the next day the reviews go out. It's a very simple process.
Do they go out by email or phone text?
We do text mostly, and then we can do an email as well. The email open rate across the board is about 5%. The text message open rate is about 35%. So I'd much rather send the text message to the patient.
Now, if you send the patient a text, some people are just weird. Not everyone's normal like me. If you text someone an online review and they feel like that's an invasion of privacy, is there something on there where they can
stop it? It says you can stop. Just hit stop and we won't send it again.
Okay.
And if the practice,
and what percent of patients hit that stop thing?
Oh, maybe 3%, 5% at the most.
Really?
Nope. Yeah, because we're only sending it one time to them within a 30-day period, so they're only getting it one time.
I've only been texted one time by a healthcare provider. Wouldn't be a taste on a review, but it's my proctologist doing my 5-year colonoscopy. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I just didn't want to leave a review about my my colonoscopy that I get every 5 years. But so when you send out, so you're going to text every single patient that was scheduled in Open Dental today, where
as long as they have
a cell phone.
As long as they have not been scheduled, as long as they have not been sent a text message within the last 30 days. So the only information that we're taking out of Open Dental is the name of the patient, the email address, the mobile phone number, and the last visit date. So if the last visit date was within 30 days, we're not sending it again to them.
But do you send it the day they came into that appointment?
Yeah,
or
later that day. At the end of the day, yes.
Because is that the most likely time you'd leave a review if you're hit that day?
Yes, and I actually prefer the practice uses a hybrid method, which is they actually pick some patients during the day they're going to send it to while they're there in the office. So it's done some in the office manually and then some at the end of the day automated, and that gives them the best results. By far and away, that gets them the very best results.
Is texted a word?
Texted, yeah.
Okay. So each patient seen that day is texted. Is that even the right word? Texted?
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Is texted a link to do an online review. Now, when they hit that link, are they going to be going to Google or Health Grades or Yelp or where are they going?
Here, Howard. Let's role play. I'm going to send you my text as we're speaking right now. How does that sound?
Okay.
So I'll send you a text. We'll role play this out. Howard, what is your? Do you mind giving out your cell phone, or you don't want to give out your cell phone number?
Will you edit it out?
I just sent it to you, Howard. So you will get the text message.
Wow. Wow. It's got a picture of your lovely staff.
Yep. And it asks for we value your feedback.
My God, that looks like a modeling agency. I mean, really, those are that's a beautiful staff. PA Center Dental. Hi, Howard. We value your feedback. Please tell us about your experience by clicking the link. Text stop to unsubscribe. So I just text the link. Now it's taken me to Bird Eye.
Yep.
And it says Pennsylvania Center for Dental Excellence, 1,647 reviews with a 4.8 star rating. Okay. We hope that your experience in our office exceeded your expectations. We really enjoy seeing you and hope you want to leave us a positive review. However, if you're not completely satisfied, we hope that you will contact us directly to make things right for you. So then I can click review us on Google or review us on Facebook. Before I click one, you have Google on top, Facebook below. That's because Google's probably more important.
Correct. Google's more important. So now
by what factor? By what factor? Quantified.
Oh, by hundreds. I mean, there's not even close.
100 to 1.
At least, maybe more. I mean, There's no comparison between Google and Facebook. You want as many Google reviews as you can possibly get because Google runs the internet. So, I mean, so now below it says, please contact us directly. If you saw that, if they hit the red button, it would go directly back to the practice.
Okay, now I got to sign in with your Google account.
So do you have a Google account or not?
Oh, yeah. I just don't know what I'm going to do when Ryan moves out. Because when Ryan moves out, I'm going to revert back to the Flintstones. Okay. Howard Farran posting publicly. Share details of your experience this place. That's pretty neat. And Len, do you ever go by Lenny? I mean, I think it's Leonard, Len. Anybody call you Lenny?
Oh, yeah, Lenny is when I was a kid and when I was in dental school. After I graduated dental school, I just saw a girl from who was in Hawaii with me at the AAPD, and she called me Lenny, and nobody knows me by Lenny other than from dental school. So,
and what does your mother call you when she's really mad at you?
She called me Leonard.
And is Lenny Kravitz your favorite musician?
No.
No. Does he make the top 10?
Sure.
Yeah, he's that good. Sure. That is just amazing, and I'm shocked, dude. I mean, 7,000 clients. Congratulations, Len. That is huge. And by the way, this isn't a commercial. No one's ever paid me to come on the show. Several people have wanted to pay me to come on the show. I asked Len 3 different times. I was lecturing with him last month. So all this adulation isn't a paid-for commercial. I don't do that stuff. So you're getting a lot of good advice. You need open dental. And you need to have how many? Another question I want to ask. So let's say I go on there and I say you're horrible, and I post that review. Is it going to be there 100 years from now, or do they have a life expectancy? Do they drop off someday?
Well, if you had left a negative review there, it would be posted to Google. Unfortunately, the best defense against a negative review is just to get more positives, and that's what we do. So it's not going to eliminate every single positive review you have. But Google wants to have credible businesses. They want your business to be credible. And as you know, Howard, being a business owner, you can't please every patient. So having a credible business doesn't mean you have all 5-star reviews. Google does not respect that. And they want you to have some negative reviews. We're not a perfect business. So the best defense against a negative review is more positives. So
Right. I get that. I totally get that. But I was just wondering. I mean, is it on there for eternity?
well, we thought so, but again, I told you when we first started that I went from 235 to 177 reviews because Google took away reviews that were anonymous 5 or 6 years ago. So you can't leave an anonymous review anymore on Google. You can't do that
So
anymore.
anonymous reviews are gone.
Anonymous reviews were eliminated last week. You can no longer leave an anonymous review on Google anymore.
Wow. Okay. So anonymous
So
reviews are gone, but the reviews were, the Google knows who you are that left this review. Again, are they just permanent?
yeah,
I thought it was funny when the EU was doing this deal. Did you read that deal from Google when the EU, the government officials and all that are passing all this regulation on terms and conditions for the internet, which is mostly aimed at Google and Facebook and all that. Did you see how they wanted 38? The government leaders wanted what 38,000 things about them, the politicians, permanently deleted from the internet. Did I paraphrase that right?
you did. You did. The only way a review is going to come down from Google is if it violates one of their terms and conditions. So there's like 12 things. It has to actually meet one of them for Google to take it down. So I had told a patient to stop her bitching and moaning in my practice. I said, stop your bitching and moaning. And she goes, you called me a bitch. I'm like, no, I didn't. I said you were complaining. You're bitching and moaning. She goes, no, you called me a bitch. And then she went on Google and told me that, told all the followers that I didn't like gay people. That's what she wrote. I didn't like homosexuals. So I wrote to Google that this is not true. And about 7 other dentists posted on my page that this is not Dr. Tau. He has nothing against gay people. And Google took that review down immediately after seeing that. So unless there's like racist or hate or anything like that on Google, they're not going to take these reviews down in most cases, even if it wasn't from a patient. It's very hard to prove that. So, that's they're going to stay on there for quite a long time.
That is. So, what advice would you give for Roseanne Barr today? Do you think? How do you do damage control for somebody like that?
Use common sense next time. She just has no common sense.
Oh my gosh!
Her ex-husband Tom Arnold said that she wanted to get her show canceled. That's why she did that. That's the latest news. So that's just stupid what she did. But some people are just stupid. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and that's something else. So what questions? I can't believe we were an hour. What questions was I not smart enough to ask, Len? I'm going to call you Lenny. Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz Tau DMD FAGD. What questions was I not smart enough to ask?
No, I think we covered everything. Negative reviews, bird eye. Oh, I mean, my podcast. The Raving Patients Podcast. It's downloadable on iTunes. I'll have it on Dental Town soon. How to deal with negative reviews. Everything. I think we covered everything. I think we're good.
It's crazy. So Dental Town has 250,000 dentists. When Jobs came out with the app with the smartphone, we came out with a podcast, and 60,000 of those 250,000 downloaded the podcast. Those are pretty much millennials. The guys my age are on desktop, baby boomers on desktop, millennials. But they have an hour commute. They have an hour commute each way. The views on these podcasts. So let me show you this one. How to open a dental office. Look at the views he's got. 688,458 views. I mean, this technology is insane because they're free. And they got good information. But I mean, who would have thought when I first saw a cell phone the first time, it was like a brick attached to a briefcase. And then I thought it had reached all that in a bag of chips when it was the little Motorola flip phone. The smartphone, I mean, who would have ever thought that you'd be carrying the power of an IBM mainframe in your pocket, put a podcast on there, and have it downloaded 688,458 times?
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And what they tell me they get in their car in the morning, they open the Dental Town app, and they're just like, what am I in the mood for? Or what problems do I have? What's wrong with my dental office? And you just came in. I'm going to call you like a Toys R Us, Babies R Us, a category killer. You come in as a dentist that just absolutely slaughters one exact problem, and that is not reputation management. It's just, what do you call it? You didn't like
Reputation marketing.
reputation marketing, not reputation management. So Lenny Tau, thank you so much for coming on the show today and talking to my homies, and I hope you have a rocking hot day.
Thank you very much, Howard. I appreciate it. Thanks for finally having me. After 3 tries, we finally got it done. Thank you very much.
Oh, the honor is all mine. Thank you, Ryan. Bye-bye, Len.
Bye, Ryan. Thanks, Ryan.